When I go into battle mode, don't get in my way, because whoever I'm breaking up, I'm going to break you up right along with them. Harold Lee Hankins. Who was he? He was a very compassionate man. When you first met him, you might have thought he was a little rough around the edges. This guy right here, he prided himself on saying, I weigh 260 pounds. What you gonna do with me? When he balled his fists up, looked like a sledgehammer. These things right here. And then when he balled his forearm up, looked like a knot, a baseball, a softball. And he believed, and he said, if I hit anybody with this right here, they're going down. I'm gonna disconnect something. If I hit you on your arm, your head, or your leg, you will feel pain. He had a very mean streak in him, but a very compassionate streak as well. He would help people. He would feed the homeless. He would do things, do back to school drive and give back to the community. But don't cross him. Once you're on his bad side, I heard him tell a man one time, he said, only thing that keep me from jumping on you, that could stop me is God himself. Because if I decide to jump on you, there's nothing that no man can do to stop me before I get my hands on you. One time we was leaving the school and this guy jumped out. So, he had a sword. He was like, what you gonna do now? He said, what you gonna do now? Mr. Hankins leaned back and he looked at the man. That was me, Mr. Hankins' daughter, and his ex-wife. And she said, Harold, don't do it. Mr. Hankins got to the trunk of his car and he had a octagon training stick. We went back there and got his training stick. He put it out there in front of the guy, and the guy was like, yeah, why you go right in there? So Mr. Hankins started swinging his stick at the guy, and the guy took off running. And Mr. Hankins wasn't a very fast runner. So he was running behind the guy with a stick like, come on back here, I got something for you. Miss Hankins was like, Jack, stop him, Jack. And he said this the first time he said it to me. He's like, mister, when I go into battle mode, don't get in my way, because whoever I'm breaking up, I'm going to break you up right along with him. I told Miss Hankins, we call her baby, I said, baby, I ain't getting in the middle of that. She said, Harold, Miss Hankins said, the man threatened me and threatened you all. What I'm supposed to do, let him just run over here with a sword? So anyway, he ended up taking the man's sword, taking the sword from him, and the guy ain't never come back. Now I'm going to tell you about Mr. Hankins and his education. He was the smartest man that I ever knew. And my other colleague, Josiah Blunt, he was the next smartest man. And the third smartest man that I ever knew was Ron Cannon. Mr. Hankins was a martial art historian. So when you open your mouth about martial arts, brilliance fell out. You look at this old man, you say, oh, he's a construction worker. He muddy from his head to his toe because he's out there building bridges and stuff all day long. But when he opened his mouth, he's like in awe, because he was just brilliant. The things that he would say, and he could recite poems and things that he remembered from high school. And you can't judge the book by its cover. But Mr. Hankins, he wanted to be a neurosurgeon. He come from an underprivileged kind of family neighborhood. He said when he would go to school, in the elementary school, he had put cardboard in the soles of his shoes because he had holes in his shoes. And when it rained outside, his feet would be wet. Sometime only meal that he got was when he went to school to eat. He said a lot of times the kids would tease him because he was poor. And he said, Jack, I learned martial arts so I could pay some people back. I said, what do you mean, Mr. Hankins? He said, people that taunted me and people that bullied me. He said, I learned martial arts so I can pay them back. I said, Mr. Hankins, well, martial arts, you're supposed to be honorable and teaching respect. And he said, you teach that. He said, I'm going to teach you how to break somebody up. That was my goal, to learn how to break somebody up. He would go to class and learn a technique, then go out and find somebody and try it on. That was his mentality. He wanted to see if it worked. But he loved kids. He was very compassionate with people. He'd do anything in the world for you, but don't get on his bad side, because he would make you suffer. He would put you in pain. He was the first black owner operated martial arts studio in the city of Norfolk in the South Side Hampton Roads, August 16, 1969. Ki Wang Kim gave him permission to open up a school, which was actually in the beginning called Kim Studio. Then after him and Mr. Kim parted ways, he changed the name to Authentic Karate Club. And a lot of times when he was demonstrating the technique, I was always what they call the uke, the one who receives. Jack, come here, let me demonstrate. And he would put me in this lock, or he'd grab me and toss me and throw me. And I'd be going, God dang, why he doing this to me? He was grooming me for what I'm doing now. He said the only way you understand the pain that you're putting a man in is to be put in that pain so you can understand. Because when you got a man's pain, you got a man in pain, you got his undivided attention. When you got a man's air, when you cut his air off, you got his undivided attention. And they'll beg, please, I won't do it. I ain't mean to do it. I wished I didn't have done it. I won't do it again. Mr. Hankins, I know you won't do it again. I said, yeah, he got you. He said, once I latch on to you, you belong to me. He said, I'm gonna pull you out of your world into my world. My world is not gonna be very pretty for you. But again, he was a very nice man, very compassionate, very family-oriented man. But at the same time, he's like, you don't want to see the other side of me. That side. And I've seen it a few times where he ran up on people, because he used to take me out to lunch with him quite often, every Saturday after class, and tell me these stories, like stories I'm telling you, that he would talk about his other teachers and stuff that he did. And me and Josiah Blunt, we'd be going, God dang, Joe. I said, Joe, he telling the same story again, Joe. We be kicking each other's feet underneath the table. Yeah, we heard this story 100 times. Mr. Hankins would get up. We always go to the all-you-can-eat buffet. Mr. Hankins get up. I said, Joe, he telling us the same story again. Joe just started laughing, saying, I know. I'd heard it before too. And we just like, yes, sir, Mr. Hankins. We just start smiling and laughing, kicking each other's feet underneath the table. And Joe be like pointing at him. Here you go again. So we be kind of laughing at him. He said, what y'all laughing at? Like, nothing. And he said, don't make me introduce you to my little friend. Once he heard that movie, he said, let me introduce you to my little friend, which is Al Pacino. He always said, don't let me introduce you to my little friend. That was one of his things he liked to say. It's Grandmaster Doc signing off.